of the Park Baseball 22. Play what the pros play. The world's best baseball strategy game. Whether you're new school or old school, all that matters is winning. Take full control of any current Major League Baseball franchise. Discover and develop elite players, coaches, and scouts. Run your team your way and build a World Series champion. The Infinite Baseball Sandbox. All new for 2021. Stunning new 3D ballparks for every Major League team. Or build your own unique, majestic landmark with our dramatically improved ballpark construction kit, a completely remodeled coaching system that connects and impacts your entire organization. All new strategies and management options give you unprecedented control. Plus, dozens of gameplay and performance improvements that make the best even better. And of course, Perfect Team 22. The critically acclaimed online competition roars back this season with more strategies, more content, and a brand new mode, Perfect Draft. Out of the Park Baseball 22, available worldwide on March 26th, 2021.
Well, hello, everybody. How are you doing, baseball fans? I am so excited for today. We are going to have such a good time, and we're going to have such a good time for such a good cause, which really just makes us all really happy around the Out of the Park Development's offices. Today, we are here to we're here to do a benefit for the Jimmy Fund of the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. This is the second of a series of 4 that we are doing with our great partners, the Boston Red Sox and NESN, and of course the Jimmy Fund and Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. And our special guest today, he needs no introduction, but we're going to do an introduction anyway. I cannot tell you how excited I am, as well as I know a bunch of our community members are excited for this as well. So before we get to introduce him, let's take a look at this.
Folk to the set. The 1-0 pitch. Here it is. Swinging a ground ball. Stabbed by Folk. He has it. He underhands the first. And the Boston Red Sox are the world champions. For the first time in 86 years, the Red Sox have won baseball's world championship. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? Indeed. I don't think that ever gets old. You know, whether you're a Red Sox fan or just a baseball fan, one of the great calls of all time in a career full of great calls, I'm thrilled to welcome in the great Joe Castiglione. Joe, how are you, sir?
Rich, great to be with you and to help benefit the Jimmy Fund, which has been near and dear to my heart for many, many years. And it should be a lot of fun. We're down here in Fort Myers, Florida, where it's 80 and sunny, and Red Sox are playing the Twins at the moment and leading in that ball game.
There you go. So we have a lot to get to today. What we are going to do today is we're going to play a fantasy matchup of 2 classic Red Sox teams as chosen by Joe. But before we get to that, Joe, first of all, that call that we just saw, right? I know you probably answered this question 100 times or 1,000 times, but what was that like? After so many years of heartbreak and you being associated with the Red Sox franchise for so long, not only to be there, but to make that call and just that feeling, what was that all like back in 04?
Well, you know, athletes talk, Rich, about being in the zone. If an announcer could be in the zone, I was there at that moment for that final inning. You never count anything for sure, even with a 3-0 lead in the game and a 3-0 3-0 lead in the World Series, because we know Red Sox history and how things can get away. But to have that chance to call that out was huge. I thought about it for years. How would you end it? And I decided, well, you can't script it. You don't know how it's going to end. I was just very thankful it ended on a really definitive play. Not a check swing or diving catch. Did he make it or didn't he? But a simple ground ball to the pitcher. And that said it all. Can you believe it after 86 years?
So that is one of the calls for which you are well known for. But you made a lot of calls. I mean, is that the top one, or is there another another moment in time that you sort of remember as that special moment, or are there any others other than that one that you recall particularly well in your career?
Well, the other World Championships, but I think that has to be number one because it ended the 86-year drought, and the Red Sox went on to win 4 in 15 years. That certainly was great. There have been walk-off home runs. I remember during the Morgan Magic in 1988, especially a Todd Benzinger home run in the fourth win of that 12-game win streak when my close personal friend Joe Morgan took over the team and won 12 in a row and 19 out of 20. That was huge. And, of course, that Houston game where Ben and Teddy made the diving catch, and I got so excited I literally fell out of my chair at Minute Maid Park.
Right.
And, had the microphone and the headset up by my nose, but still was able to make the call.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening currently. You said you're down in spring training, right? You're down in Fort Myers. You're with the Red Sox. I'm sure a lot of Red Sox fans would love to know what you think about what you've seen so far from the club so far early this spring.
Well, spring training is never a barometer. You have to remember that the games are managed differently, played differently. You don't. So many games get away at the end because you have reserves, people you'll probably never see in the big leagues again out on the field. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt. But I think that they're showing the biggest thing so far, and he pitched very well again today, was Eduardo Rodriguez seems healthy. He pitched 4 innings today, allowed 1 run. He was outstanding in his first start as well. Had no after effects because he had the coronavirus and then myocarditis and inflammation of the heart muscle. He was a 19-game winner. He's the ace of the staff. So that is a very, very big step. And you look for return to health, and you look for maybe players that you haven't seen a lot of in the past to see if they can win a job. Bobby Dahlbeck, who debuted last year very well, 8 homers in 80 at-bats with 39 strikeouts, which are going to come. But he's had 4 home runs this spring, including a game-winning grand slam yesterday, and he's been a bright spot. But right now, we're about 12 games in, so more than half of spring training to go, and you really don't start to judge players until the last week of spring training because they prepare for the season. We want to see Xander Bogaerts get healthy and get back on the field. He did take batting practice today. He's been out with his sore shoulder, has not played in a game yet, so that's going to be pivotal. But having Eddie Rodriguez healthy is the biggest single factor, the most important thing we've seen so far.
And last question before we start to get into it with our fantasy camp matchup today. Obviously everything is strange these days. Last year was the most bizarre year of all time for a lot of reasons. This year, you've got your teams in a pod, right? So you're only facing a few different teams. How effective is this spring training? Do you think that with the relatively small number of teams and pitchers and players that you're hitting, like that, you're getting the same benefits of a spring training, or is this different? What's your overall take on how this very different spring training is going to impact or not impact the Red Sox and the rest of the teams in Major League Baseball?
Play they play the Braves 9 times, the Twins 8, Tampa Bay 8, but it really doesn't make any difference who you're playing spring training. There's so many different players. I don't think it's a case of getting too familiar with your opponents in spring training because the games are not played with the same passion. They're not played with the same strategy. So I don't think that makes a huge difference going into the regular season. And the basic idea is as in the case of Rodriguez, show he's healthy, young players to establish themselves, and to get your lineup set for opening day. So I think it'll serve its purpose as it always has, except that crowds are limited to no more than 20%, and we have fewer than 2,000 at each game, which is a far cry from what the Red Sox normally get here. They sell out just about every game.
So we are here today to do a fantasy matchup. Now we are here today as well to raise funds for the Jimmy Fund and the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. So I just want to make sure that, number one, everybody is aware of the link to donate. We had a great session last week, and we're looking to hit our goal this week as well. The out of the park baseball community stepped up huge last week, and once again we're looking for you to do that. You've got some great rewards that you can earn for donating. I think we've got our goal. You'll see our goal pop up on the screen as well. So again, once again, a huge thank you to everybody in the out of the park baseball community, and of course, out of the park developments. We're going to be matching the donations from the community as well. So we're all in this together. Joe, before we get to look at the matchup, and we're going to talk about this a few different times, but you obviously being affiliated with the Red Sox for so long and probably had a lot of interaction and a lot of experience with the Jimmy Fund and the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. I'm curious sort of what your background is and history is with that organization and what they do.
Growing up in Connecticut, I would hear Kurt Gowdy talk about the Jimmy Fund, and then Ken Coleman, who brought me to Boston, was my mentor. Ken was the chairman of the Jimmy Fund, and when I came to the Red Sox in 1983, he introduced me to Dana-Farber, and I went on many visits with him to not only the hospital but the banquets around New England to pick up checks for the Jimmy Fund, and was indoctrinated that way. And when Ken retired in 1990, I felt part of his role sort of in a public relations area, going out to meet with groups and to tout the Jimmy Fund, and to give talks at the ballpark and to MC events at Fenway Park for the Jimmy Fund, which I still do today. So I've had a close association. We've been on hospital visits with the ball players, some of which have produced some amazing moments. And, we've gotten to know patients over the years, kids who have, in those cases, overcome their bouts with cancer. And there've been a lot of emotional ties, too. So it's really a charity that's near and dear to me.
Yeah, and again, what has really struck me just in our the last couple of years of we've worked with the Jimmy Fund and the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute is just how dedicated they are to making sure that they do fundraising the right way. Right, the money goes directly to the different parts of the organization that need it, and to us that was really critical as well. So again, we're honored, we're thrilled to be a part of this. We're thrilled to have you with us, Joe. So now, why don't we get to the game? We are set up today with a fantasy matchup between two Red Sox clubs from history. And Joe, you know both of these clubs well. We have got the 2004 Boston Red Sox facing the 2018 Boston Red Sox in our fantasy matchup today. And Joe, you are going to be managing. You're moving from the press box down into the dugout today, and you have chosen to manage the 2004 Boston Red Sox versus 2018. Tell us a little bit about why that matchup was particularly appealing to you.
It's so intriguing, Rich, because the 2004 Red Sox ended the 86-year drought. Remember, they didn't win the division, the Yankees did, but they were staged the greatest comeback in history, down 3-0 to the Yankees after they swept the Angels in the first series, down 3-0 to the Yankees. No team in baseball had ever come back from that deficit in postseason, and they won 4 straight to get to the World Series. They did it with great pitching, with clutch performances, a basically veteran team. Not one starter missed a start during the year because of injury, which is very rare among starting pitchers. They were very dominant in that World Series after the great comeback against the Yankees. And, of course, 2018, many think the best team. It certainly was the winningest team in Red Sox history, 111 wins in the regular season, 8 more in postseason, a club record 119 wins overall, with Mookie Betts leading the way and Chris Sale on the mound. So it's very intriguing to see these two teams. There was no overlap. David Ortiz, of course, was on 04. He was with 07 and 13, but retired after this 2016 season. So not one player was still around, which is, over the course of what was the difference? 14 years or so, you wouldn't expect to have much overlap.
So you have selected the lineups today. First of all, you've got Pedro Martinez on the mound. Not a difficult decision to start Pedro, but you had a couple other choices. But it feels like Pedro was the easy choice for you to start the game, right?
No question about it, Rich. Pedro's my all-time favorite list for one thing, so that is a factor. But he's the greatest Red Sox pitcher I ever saw. I mean, what he did in his 7 years really was remarkable. He had an earned run average of 3.5 runs per game, fewer than the rest of the American League. So his ERA was just over 2, and especially in the steroid era, where he was so dominant.
That's what I was going to say.
Juiced hitters. That was certainly remarkable, and a big game pitcher, first ballot Hall of Famer, should have been unanimous. So there wasn't much doubt I would start Pedro.
Yeah, I mean, again, what was amazing about Pedro, and a series of what was amazing, is the statistics he put up were great, but he put them up in an offensive era that, it's almost impossible for that to have happened, which I think makes it even more remarkable. And you mentioned that on the other side, starting for the 2018 Red Sox, is Chris Sale. So you're facing the tough Chris Sale. So you set up your lineup as follows. You've got Johnny Damon leading off in center field. You got Kevin Millar and then 2 spot at first base. Manny Ramirez third and left. Big Papi hitting cleanup at the DH. Trot Nixon is in right field hitting 5th. Bill Miller at 3rd, 6th. Jason Varitek, the switch hitting catcher, at 7th, and Orlando Cabrera at short 8th, and Mark Bellhorn 9th at the second base slot. That is I don't know if that's the standard lineup. You made a few changes, but you feel good about how you got your club ready to go, I think, right?
I do. There's some thought of perhaps using a right-hand batter against Sale, but Trot Nixon is an anchor of this team, and he had to stay in the lineup even though he's a left-hand batter. So I think it's a pretty representative lineup. I mean, you look at the switch hitters in there. You get Miller, and you have Varitek and Bellhorn. So that gives you some versatility if they go to the bullpen to replace Sale with a righty.
Indeed. And you've got everybody available to you today as well, right? This is one game, so you can bring in anybody that you want. Right. Over on the 2018 side, you've got, as you mentioned, the lefty, Chris Sale on the mound. Starting. Very good year that year, 12-4 with the 2.11 ERA. And you got the lineup set as Mookie Betts leading off in right, Andrew Benintendi in left at the number 2 spot. Devers at third base in the 3-hole. Cleanup is JD Martinez, one of the great years of all time in 2018 at the DH spot. Mitch Moreland 5th at first. Xander Bogaerts, who you were chatting about earlier, at short hitting 6th.
Have we reconnected?
There we go. Not sure what happened. You still there, Joe?
Okay, yep, we're back.
Okay, great. Michael, are you still there? We can't tell if we're still live or not. Oh, there we go. All right, I think we're back. Looks like we're back. Sorry about that, folks. Nothing like live television except on the internet. So I think the question I asked before we froze there, Joe, is how do you like your chances, Euro 4 club against the 18 club with these lineups and pitchers?
Well, we got Pedro pitching, and he's certainly a stopper, the ace of the staff, so we have to feel good about that. We've got a lineup that's hot. They just swept came from 3 games down to win 4 straight against the Yankees and have won 3 games already in the World Series. So, and it's a veteran team. I feel very good about our chances.
All right. Well, let's play ball then, shall we? We got Chris Sale versus Pedro Martinez, and let's head out to Fenway Park. while we're waiting for the game to start, again, just want to say once again, thank you everybody so much for the support of the Jimmy Fund. There are a bunch of great rewards if you donate, including Perfect Points. And by the way, you can choose Perfect Points for Out of the Park Baseball 21, the current game, or you can also go and set yourself up with some Perfect Points for Out of the Park Baseball 22 as some of your rewards. There is the link right there. And once again, huge shout out to everybody in the Out of the Park Baseball community for donating. We know it's not easy these days, especially to find the ability to donate. Every little bit helps very much, and we're really honored and thrilled to be working with such a great group of people and such a great charity. All right, Joe, why don't we go ahead and get to it here? So we have got 2018, where that's the computer, and we have got 2004, which is Joe Castiglione. And let us go ahead and get out to the ballpark, shall we? This is going to be a lot of fun. All right, so the 2018 club is the visiting club. So Joe, you're in the home dugout. Should be familiar for you. And here's what we're going to do, Joe. You're going to basically tell me what you want to do. So when you're when your club is out in the field, you just tell me whether you want me to pitch straight up or if you want to move anybody around. You have any sort of ability to shift your infield and your outfield. So if you want to move guys to the left, move guys to the right, if you want to go double play depth, any of those options are available to you. And in the outfield, also very similar options. You can bring them in, move them around to the left or the right. The computer will set some default matchups for you there. But again, we'll be able to make sure you do any shifting and moving around that you want to.
Okay, let's play ball.
All right, so you got Pedro on the mound facing Mookie Betts. And you can just tell me to pitch straight up or pitch around or anything else that you want to do here with Pedro facing Mookie Betts.
Mookie hits it everywhere, so play ball, straight up.
All right, here we go. All right, so leading off is Mookie Betts facing Pedro Martinez, and it is a 2-2 count. Here's the pitch, and that is a ground ball to short, over to first, one away. So it's a good start for Pedro. Up next, you have the man who made you fall out of your chair, Joe Castiglione, Andrew Benintendi.
Let's shorten up the third baseman here, just guarding against the bunt.
All right. So we'll bring third base in. Bill Miller encroaches a little bit to Benintendi. And here's the pitch. It's a 1-2 count. And that is a strikeout. So Pedro notches his first K of the day. And that brings you to Devers facing Pedro with 2 outs and nobody on base.
Well, this is a tough matchup even against Pedro. Remember, Devers took Aroldis Chapman into the bullpen at Yankee Stadium in a pitch that was going about 102 miles an hour in and about 110 miles an hour out. So play him straight up and let's challenge.
All right, 0-2 count. And that is a called strike 3. So it's 1-2-3 for Pedro in the top of the first. Not unexpected, but always nice to see. All right, so now you've got, facing Chris Sale, you've got Damon, Millar, and Ramirez coming up, and we lead off with Johnny Damon. What are we doing with Johnny here?
Well, with the lefty going, Johnny's going to try to get things started and drag a bunt.
All right, he's going to try to bunt for a hit. 1-2 count to Damon, and he fouls it off. It's still 1-2. So with the 1-2 count, you still want to bunt, or are you looking to swing away now?
Well, if he bunted the foul, he's out, but...
Well, it was. I guess it was a 1-1 count, and so the second.
Okay, give him another shot. Swing away with 2 strikes.
Right.
Swing away.
Swinging away with 2 strikes, and that is lined into center field for a leadoff single for Johnny Damon.
Oh, Damon hits the lefty.
So he is at first base. Yep. So here's Millar now with Damon on first. You thinking about putting him in motion at all, or are you just going to swing away with Millar here?
Let's play hit and run.
All right, hit and run it is. And that is he's swinging at the first pitch. That is struck well to center field and gets over the center fielder's head. That is going to be a run-scoring double. So starting right off, Joe, a RBI double for Kevin Millar. Johnny Damon scores, and it's 1-0 0-4 already. And look who's coming up. Manny Ramirez at the plate.
Who could go on to win the Most Valuable Player award in this World Series, as he did in 2004.
That's
Manny
right.
will be swinging.
All right, swinging away against Sale. He swings at the first pitch, and he rips that for a base hit in the center field. We saw that a lot. The question is the runner going to advance? No. So now we are at first and third, and nobody out, and Big Papi at the plate. 0-4 just keeps on coming. There's no holes in that lineup. My goodness.
Well, Papi got to get the run home somehow, or he'll be swinging away.
All right, 1-2 count to Big Papi, and he rips it down to first, over to second for one, and that is a double play. So the run will score, but no RBI for David Ortiz. So it's now 2-0, but it goes from 2 guys on base to no one on base for Jason Varitek at the plate.
All right. Well,
All right, looks like somehow the lineup got moved around, so my apologies. I think I might have.
that's okay. Varitek
hit
hit fifth, and then we'll follow with Nixon later. Oh, he'll be swinging away. With hitter from the right side. 2 quick runs.
2-2 count. And that's ripped down the line. That's going to be a double for Varitek. Not fleet of foot, but he hit it well enough to get it in there. That is a double. And yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, I made a couple mistakes and the AI picked the lineup, so we have some slightly different lineups that we went over with. My apologies on that. Can we get a professional in here, please? Can we get a professional in here? No, it's me.
That's
all right.
It's
just me.
We'll let Bellhorn swing away here.
All right,
he
here's
won the
Bellhorn.
first game of the World Series with a home run off the pesky pole.
That's right. That is exactly
Cardinals.
right. 0-1 count. And that is grounded to short, over to first, and that is the third out of the inning. But Joe Castiglione, your lineup, which then got altered by the AI because I made a mistake, still scores 2 runs in the first inning. So I think we're doing all right so far.
Great start. Okay.
All right, so we're back to the 18 Red Sox here at the top of the second. We got JD Martinez, Mitch Moreland, and Xander Bogaerts. So how are we attacking JD Martinez here?
We're going to try to pitch him inside and jam him.
All right.
I'm going to challenge him.
And he is not going for it. He gets a 4-pitch walk. He's at first base.
Very rare for Pedro. Leadoff walk.
No kidding. Yeah.
Well, the infield will be in double play depth.
All right. Double play depth and Moreland at the plate.
Here's the biggest
pitch.
hit
It's a
in
2-2
the 18 World
count.
Series.
And that is a strikeout for Pedro. So he bounces back from the walk with the strikeout. So now man on first with 1 away for Bogaerts.
Tres ponchados per Pedro.
All right. Are we going double play depth or are we keeping them straight up?
Keep him double play depth with 1 out, 1 on.
All right. Double play depth it is. Here's the pitch. It's an 0-2 count. And that's another strikeout. His 4th strikeout in 1 2/3 of an innings. And now it goes from a man on and no one out to a man on and 2 outs. And he's got Jackie Bradley Jr. facing him right now with 2 outs and a man on first.
Shift the infield. 3 infielders on the right side.
All right. So let's go shift right. Or do we want a hard shift right? We want the hard shift right?
Hard shift, yes.
All right. So here we go. Hard shift right, a full count. And that is a walk. So 2 walks for Pedro here. And now we've got 2 on and 2 out. So, yeah, getting a little dicey here for Brock Holt with man on first and second and 2 outs.
Well, the Brock star is in a key spot here, but Pedro will challenge him.
All right. Here's the pitch. 1-2 count. And he strikes him out. So Pedro bounces back from 2 walks and gets out of it. So 2-0 through 1.5 innings. So now we've got Cabrera, Miller, and Mankiewicz. Once again, the AI took what I did, and I made a couple of button presses, and it went all bonkers. So all that preparation, Joe, I screwed it up for you. My apologies. But that's okay. That's all right. Here we go. We got
Well,
Cabrera,
we
Miller,
want
and
Mankiewicz in there now. He's got the good gloves. So
All right.
now that we have the lead.
All right. So here's Cabrera leading off.
Okay, he's going to be swinging away.
All right. 3-1 count. And that is struck into left field, but a diving play is made by Benintendi. You know something about that. That great
just like
defense
he did
out
in
left
Houston.
field.
Wow. Good
That's
play
right.
to start an inning. Yes.
All right, here's Bill Miller.
2003 batting champ.
That's right. That's right. Swinging away with Bill.
Bringing away.
All right. 2-1 to Miller. And that is a line for a base hit up the middle. So he's at first with one away, and Mankiewicz at the plate now.
Miller hits the good pitching. Remember, he owned Mariano Rivera. Hit 455 against him for his career.
It's amazing.
The one-on, one-out for Mankiewicz. Well, you're not going to
Yep.
sacrifice with one out, so he's on his own.
All right. 2-2 count. And that is called strike 3. So 2 away now, and the leadoff batter is back. That's Johnny Damon with man on first, the not fleet of foot Bill Miller, and Damon at the plate, the lefty facing the lefty Chris Sale.
Well, we'll just
Swinging
hope he
away
can
here,
get a
Joe?
base hit. Swing away, maybe advance, run it to third.
Oh, he strikes out. So Sale recovers a little bit after giving up 2 in the first, and he strikes out the last 2 of the second. So now we are heading to the top of the third. Pedro, who has gone for 2 innings, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts so far, facing Vasquez and then Betts and Benintendi. How do you want to play Vasquez here?
We'll play him maybe in the outfield a step toward right.
All right. Outfield to right. Here's the pitch. Another 3-0 count from Pedro, and he is wild so far today. Third walk, and it's a leadoff walk for the second consecutive inning. You don't like that.
Man,
And you
that pitch
definitely
count's
don't like
mounting.
that with you definitely don't like that with Mookie Betts at the plate either. So now you got a man on first, nobody out, and Mookie Betts at the plate.
All right, we've got to go after Mookie here.
All right. Here's the pitch.
Man
1-0
to double,
count.
but it's possible.
And it's ripped over to second. Throw to second, back to first. There's your double play. The pitcher's best friend,
Wow.
Joe Castiglione.
Very hard to double up Mookie Betts, but he hit it hard right at Bellhorn, and they got it over to Cabrera, back to Mankiewicz quickly. Wow.
That is exactly right. All right, so now here we've got Benintendi up here against Pedro with 2 outs and nobody on. We're going right after Benintendi, I presume.
Going to attack him, yes.
All right, 2-1 count. And that is going to be a base hit. That might get, nope, that won't get to the wall, but that will get over the shortstop head. So that is a 2-out single for Benintendi. And now here's Devers, the third baseman, up a lefty against Pedro. So 2 outs, man on first.
First hit that Pedro's allowed. Well, let's see if he throws that good changeup and tries to get Devers out in front.
All right, here's the 1-2 count, and that is a strikeout. So there you go, the 6th strikeout for Pedro. He is dealing. He's a little wild, but it's 2-0 through 2.5 innings. Bottom of the third, you got Millar, Ramirez, and Ortiz at the plate here.
Well, at the
Millar's
plate,
up first.
Kevin Deep, he doubled over the head of the center fielder his first time up, setting up to 2 runs.
Yes, he did.
Swing the bat, Kevin.
All right. 1-2 count to him. And that is a strikeout. So Sale is bouncing back as well. That's his 3rd strikeout. Here's Manny. Manny facing Chris Sale. This is quite a matchup.
Power against power here. And
Indeed.
Manny he won't try to do too. He won't overswing. He'll use the whole field if he can. But he'll be
1-1
ripping.
count to Manny. And that is a very high fly ball hit into left center field. Looks like the play will be made by the center fielder, and it is. That's 2 away. And here is Ortiz.
Poppy will be swinging
Poppy
from
has
his heels right here.
And he swings right through it. So that is a strikeout for Ortiz as well. So, all right. So we are through 3 innings, Joe Castiglione, and your 2004 Red Sox are currently leading 2-0. Pedro is a little wild, but he's also blowing it by some guys. How are you feeling right now about what's happening?
Well, a little concerned about the pitch count, Rich. It's mounting, but we've got some good arms in the bullpen. If we can get to the 7th inning, you got Embry and you have Timlin, and of course Folk to close. Maybe Bronson or Roy if you need him too.
So I want to take a little bit of a break here for a moment, talk a little bit more about why we're here today, and that's the Jimmy Fund and the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Joe, you mentioned you've been working with them for a long time. I would imagine you've got a lot of memories, a lot of stories about some things that you've seen and done with the organization. What's one or two that you can think of that means something to you or meant something to somebody in particular?
One of the great stories was the discovery of the real Jimmy. Of course, the Jimmy Fund started around the bedside of a kid who was anonymous at the time, but called Jimmy. His identity was protected, and he starred on the Ralph Edwards radio show, Truth or Consequences. It was such an outstanding personality that the phone started to ring and people started to make contributions, and that's how the Jimmy Fund was started with this radio show. And the idea was initially to get enough money to buy Jimmy a television so he could watch the Boston Braves in the 1948 World Series. And that did happen. But at the time, childhood leukemia was almost universally fatal. To protect the identity. What happened next was sort of lost in history. But some 40 years later, maybe 45 years later, his sister, Jimmy's sister, wrote into the Jimmy Fund, and they did a lot of research and found that the real Jimmy was still alive. He had survived childhood leukemia. His name was Einar Gustafson, and he was a tractor-trailer driver from Maine. And it turned out he was one of the nicest gentlemen you'd ever meet. Low-key, very dedicated to the Jimmy Fund, very thankful. And it turned out to be a wonderful spokesman for the Jimmy Fund up until he passed away, maybe 2 or 3 years later. But it was such a wonderful, great find, and to have the perfect gentleman who could be such a great spokesman really helped the Jimmy Fund in its fundraising efforts. And he just did so many wonderful things with the visits to the kids and at fundraising events. And Einar Gustafson was just a marvelous gentleman.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. All right. So once again, guys, you know the link. We'll put it up here again at the bottom of the screen. And if one of our mods or one of our community members wants to hit the chat command as well for the Jimmy Fund, you can see what we're going for. Looks like we're already halfway to our second goal for the week. So thank you guys very much for that. And once again, we have some really great rewards for you in there as well, including perfect points for either Out of the Park Baseball 21 or the upcoming Out of the Park Baseball 22, which, by the way, in case you didn't know, it is arriving on March 26th, Friday, March 26th, and tomorrow is the big reveal show with MLB Network Scott Braun. That's at 3 p.m. on YouTube. We're going to send out the link for that a little later tonight. Lots going on there as well. And by the way, I don't know if you guys have been following, but there have been some, how do I say it, unauthorized disclosures today of some information from some out of the park baseball community guys. Some folks who gotten their hands on some screenshots of some new stadiums and things like that, and a little bit of perfect team information dropping. So there's all sorts of stuff going on out there in case you're interested. And I know you guys are, because you're awesome, the best community in video games. All right, Joe Castiglione. Excuse me, Joe Castiglione.
It's a lot of fun.
Your name
Love it, Rich.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Let's get back to the game here. What do you say? It's the top of the 4th inning, and your Red Sox are up 2-0. You got Pedro on the mound, 49 pitches, and we got Martinez, Moreland, and Bogarts up now to face Pedro.
Fire away, Petey.
All right, 1-2 count. And that is a ground ball. Will be picked up by the second baseman over to first. The play is made off of J.D. Martinez, and that is the first out of the inning. That brings up Mitch Moreland, the first baseman.
Don't throw him the changeup. That's what he hit for that big home run against the Dodgers in the World Series. But Pedro has a great changeup, though. He's not afraid to throw it. We'll see.
He sure does. There's the 1-2 count, and that is a strikeout. So that is the 7th strikeout for Pedro so far. Now here's Bogaerts, the right-hander, facing Pedro with no one on and 2 outs.
There's a tough out here because Xander, great 2-strike hitter as well.
It is a
Don't waste
0-1
any.
count on Xander. There's the pitch, and that is ripped deep into center field. That is going to get all the way to the wall, and Bogaerts will cruise, slide into second with a 2-out double. So now he is in scoring position with the lefty Jackie Bradley Jr. at the plate and Pedro at 59 pitches right now. Interesting spot here, Joe. What are you going to do?
Well, right after Jackie, he's a big game player, though. You got to be careful.
All right, here's the pitch. It is a 1-2 count, and that is strike 3. So Pedro gets out of it again. Is that his 7th or his 8th strikeout through 4 innings? I think that was number 8. Wow, 8 strikeouts for Pedro. We're heading to the bottom of the 4th, and you've got the captain, Varitek, Bellhorn, and Cabrera coming up. So here's Jason Varitek leading off against Chris Sale.
Batting right-handed, he's trying to get something started. He'll be ripping.
3-1 count, and that is grounded between the first and second baseman. That is a base hit, a leadoff single for Jason Varitek. Now, Varitek is a lot of things and was a lot of things for many years, but one of the things that he is not, Joe Castiglione, is speedy. So I don't think we're going to be moving him, but I don't want to be presumptuous. What are we doing here with him at first and nobody out?
Well, he's not fast, but he's a very smart base runner, a good base runner. We're going to give Bellhorn the bunt sign here.
All right.
Something you wouldn't see in
Bellhorn.
2008.
That's true. He bunts him over, and that is a successful sacrifice for Bellhorn. So that brings up Orlando Cabrera with Varitek at second, and now 1 away against Chris Sale.
So now you got a man in scoring position and a better hitter up in Cabrera, so he'll be trying to get him home somehow.
All right, Cabrera works to a full count, and that is grounded, driven right into the ground in front of the catcher. The only play is at first. Varitek goes over to third, so now you've got 2 outs, Varitek at third, and Bill Miller at the plate with Mankiewicz behind him.
Well, you're certainly going to try to steal home with Bill Miller up, but he's a very good hitter.
All right,
See
we're
how he
swinging
faces
away with
Sale.
Bill Miller. 2-0 count, and there's a base hit. A National League run. You got to sacrifice. You got to ground all the move them over, and a base hit scores them. There's your 3rd run, Joe Castiglione. Well done.
How about the small
Well done.
ball? Huh? The strategy paid
That's
off.
right.
You have Bellhorn who strikes out a lot, bunt, and he gets the runner over, and then the ground ball, and then a base hits. So, not exactly 2021 type baseball, but it wins.
That's not even really 2004 style baseball, but hey, a run is a run, however you get it, right?
That's it.
All right, so here's Mankiewicz at the plate. We're swinging away with him, or are we going to put Miller in motion for any
We want to get to the. We want to turn the order around, so we're going to let him swing away.
All right,
take
here's
any
the 2-1 count,
Yeah.
and that is ripped into center field, but a diving play is made. And that will do it. But
Jackie
now
Bradley,
it's
what do you
3-0.
expect?
That's true. Good point. All right, 3-0, top of the 5th. You got Holt, Vasquez, and Betts. Pedro, he's at 63 pitches. He's still got gas in the tank, but what are you thinking about? You know, when are you going to think about sort of getting that bullpen stirring around with Pedro already at 63 pitches?
When he hits the 85 pitch mark, we'll see. If it's early, we'll get Arroyo up. If it's a little bit later, either Embry or Timlin, depending on the batting order.
All right, very good. So he's got Holt leading off. We're playing Holt straight up, or do you want to move anybody around for the lefty?
No, he plays him straight up. He can use the whole field.
All right, 2-1 count to Holt. And that is ripped for a leadoff double, looks like. Holt will get into second, and he is at second with a leadoff double. So it's 3-0. That's the 3rd hit for the 2018 club. And Holt is at second with Vasquez at the plate.
Well, he's down 3 runs. He's not going to give himself up. He'll be trying to get a base hit.
All right, 1-1 count. And that is going to be caught. A pop-up behind shortstop, and the play is made by Orlando Cabrera. So there is 1 away now, and Mookie Betts at the plate with a man on second and 1 out, and Pedro at 70 pitches now. How are we playing? How are we attacking Mookie here?
You have to play him straight away, pretty deep in the outfield. If he gets a blue pit, a run scores, so can't worry about that. But you want to keep him in the yard and keep him from getting into scoring position.
All right. So here's the pitch to Mookie. It's a 2-1 count. This is a hitter's count. This is a dangerous spot. And that is ripped down to third base, but picked up directly by the third baseman, and 2 away as Bill Miller makes the play. So 2 outs now. Holt remains at second. And now you've got Benintendi. So big spot here. 2 outs, man on second, and Pedro facing Benintendi. Playing him straight up, or are we moving anybody over or around at all?
Now straight away and bust him inside with fastballs, away with the changeup.
All right. It's a 2-2 count, and that is grounded right at the second baseman, over to first, and another scoreless inning for Pedro. Leadoff double, and man does not advance. So I move to the bottom of the 5th now, and you got the top of your lineup here with Damon, Millar, and Ramirez at the plate, and Chris Sale at 67 pitches. So you got Johnny Damon leading off here in the bottom of the 5th.
All right, Johnny will try to get something started as he did to open the game.
You want to bunt, or you want to swing away with Johnny?
He's going to swing.
1-0 count. 1-0 count to Damon, and that is a high fly ball into left center field. The play will be made. 1 away. Now here is Kevin Millar batting with 1 out and nobody on.
Kevin had the big hit, the double in the first, to set up, drive in one and set up another.
And that is a 1-2-3 pitch strikeout. Sale not happy with 7 hits and 3 earned runs, scowling, and he gets the strikeout. So now here's Manny with 2 out and nobody on base. Facing the tough
Manny
left
will be
hand.
thinking long ball. He'll be thinking home run.
1-1 count to Manny, and that is hit pretty well into center field, and another diving play by that man, Jackie Bradley Jr. So that is the 3rd out of the inning. We are through 5. Pedro is now taking the mound at the top of the 6th inning. He's at 81 pitches. So just so you know, Joe, to get somebody warmed up and ready, they usually need a couple of at-bats, to be warming up in the bullpen. So, you said 85 was the number. You want to think about getting somebody warming up, or you want to give them another at-bat?
We'll see how the inning starts. We won't
right.
yet. We'll see how the inning starts. Right now, we'd have Arroyo and maybe even Curtis Liskanik. There's no need to panic because we have Liskanik.
Here's Devers. It is a 0-1 count to him, and that is blasted in the right field, and that is gone. A home run, as my friend Dishna says, ball go far. That is a solo shot. Pedro is now no longer scoreless. It is 3-1, 0-4 Red Sox over the 18 Red Sox, and Pedro's now at 83 pitches.
We're going to get pitching coach Dave Wallace, get that bullpen busy, get up both Curtis Liskanik and Bronson Arroyo.
All right, so we got Arroyo going here, and we want to warm him up. And looks like, actually, Liskanik must not be on this version of the rosters because we got Schilling, DiNardo, Embry, Lowe, Myers, Tinlin, Williamson, and Folk are the guys that you got available in the bullpen for you in this game.
All right, we'll get Myers ready because they have a lefty up with the tying run.
All right.
Mike Munn.
So we got Arroyo and Myers are now both warming up. So it's going to take a couple of bats. So Pedro, he's got some work to do here facing, that man, J.D. Martinez. Martinez at the plate here. Doing anything, backing anybody up or moving anybody around, or are we pitching straight up to J.D.?
Just challenge him.
All right. 1-1 count. And that is ripped down to third base. Miller picks it up over to first, and that is one away.
That's a big out.
That was an important.
Very big
Yes,
out.
that is exactly right. So that brings up Mitch Moreland. He will face Pedro with one out and no one on base.
Mitch is fanned twice, so attack him.
Here's the pitch. He's swinging at the first pitch, and that is grounded over to short. So after the long home run, Pedro gets the next two, and if he can get Bogaerts here, he'll escape with a 3-1 lead. But that's a big if. Bogaerts at the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. How are we playing Xander?
Straight away, he used the whole field. He doubled his last time up to deep center.
All right, it's an 0-2 count, and Pedro strikes him out. There you go. So Pedro recovers from a leadoff home run. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. You're up 3-1. You got Ortiz, Veritek, and Bellhorn coming up right now, and you got your guys in the bullpen. So Arroyo and Myers are both ready. So you're in a good spot here, and you got Big Papi at the plate. Sale's still in the game. And you got to think they might be thinking about warming up some guys on that side as well. So we attacking straight here with Big Papi, I presume.
Yes, we need some insurance runs. Papi can get it started here.
1-1 count, and that is a slow ground ball, and it looks like it was hit to where nobody could get it, and it doesn't happen often. But David Ortiz has an infield single, Joe Castiglione, an infield
that
single.
That is amazing.
For the big man.
Well, they played the shift, and that's what happens. You know, the open spots, and once the pitcher couldn't get to it quickly, Papi can leg it out. When he gets going, he runs pretty well.
Yeah, when he gets going, takes a little while to get moving, but once he gets moving, there's some speed there. All right,
a freight train.
So Ortiz, that's right. Ortiz is at first with nobody out, and Veritek at the plate.
Veritek's an excellent bunter. I think we're going to play for a run here, play small ball.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't. I hit the button too fast.
He missed the sign.
He missed the sign, but he got a base hit.
He got a base hit. That's even better. Yes.
So that's even better. So now we've got first and second and nobody out. I'm taking my hands away from the mouse. I'm taking them away from the mouse until you give me your command. You got Bellhorn up here, first and second, nobody out.
Well, you remember what Bellhorn did last time? He sacrificed. So let's try it again, even though you've got 2 slow runners on.
All right, we're going to try to move those guys over. Here's the 2-1 count. He gets the bunt down, is grounded over to first, and once again, to the pitcher, once again, an excellent sacrifice bunt by Bellhorn. And now you got second and third and 1 out for Cabrera.
Well, this small ball is paying dividends so far. Cabrera's got to make contact.
All right. 1-1 count. Something's happening here. The infield is in, and it gets over the drawn-in infield. That is a base hit. 1 run will score, and then first and third and 1 out. It's 4-1 Red Sox, and that brings in a new pitcher. You have Chase Chris Sale, and now you've got Joe Kelly on the mound, Joe Castiglione.
Oh, throwing 100 miles an hour. Oh, he can be wild, though. And how about that? The bunt again paid dividends, because if the ball was hit hard, had he not been at second base, he wouldn't have scored.
That's exactly right. So what are you doing here? You got Bill Miller at the plate, first and third, 1 away, and a new pitcher on the mound, a righty, Joe Kelly.
Bill's a good fastball hitter. He's going to swing away.
All right. It is a 1-2 count to Miller. And that is a high fly ball. Looks like in the relatively shallow center field. I don't think that will get the run in. The runner will attempt to score. Here's the play at the plate, and he is safe. You scored another run. Look at that. Who knew? Yep. Excellent
Papi
stuff.
With his,
so now it is.
I told you he could go when he gets in gear. And heads up base running, not a perfect throw. He got in there with a head first dive. That's a big run.
That's right. That is a huge run, especially against the arm of Jackie Bradley Jr. So it's 5-1, the 0-4 Red Sox, and now Mikiewicz is up with 2 outs and Cabrera at first base.
And let's get Embry and Timlin up in the bullpen now.
All right. So that means you're going to sit Arroyo and Myers, right?
And sit Myers, right.
All right, so we're sitting Myers, and we got Embry and Arroyo, you said, right? Or did you want to
And
keep Arroyo up?
Timlin.
And Timlin.
Get
All right,
Timlin.
so now, there we go. All right, so Timlin and Embry are warming. And here's Mankiewicz. Are we swinging away with the lefty here?
Well, with one out, he swings away. Right.
All right. Oh, there are 2 outs, and it is a full count, and he strikes out. All right, so we head to the 7th inning. And before we set the stage, I want to once again just mention, as of course, that the reason that we're here every Thursday in March at 3 p.m. Eastern with our good friends from the Red Sox and NESN and the Jimmy Fund. Joe Castiglione, once again, the Jimmy Fund, the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. You mentioned something that I'm interested in. You know, you've been there sometimes when the players, they go visit, you know, the people who are suffering from you know, the horrible disease that is cancer, really disease is in all the different kinds. What does it mean to the people, not only the patients, but also their families, to see the, you know, Boston Red Sox players walk in the room and spend time with them? That's got to be something pretty special.
Well, it's amazing to see the way the kids and the parents just light up when a player walks into the hospital room. And the players are very good at it to them. They know how to relate to these kids. And sometimes lifetime friendships are formed. Brock Holt became very close when he was our Jimmy Fund captain before he was moved from the Red Sox. He formed great friendships with youngsters. I know one in particular who did pass away. Brock was very close with a youngster and his family, and others who did recover. And it was wonderful to see the relationship. We had one ourselves back in the 90s, mid-90s. We went on a hospital visit with the players, and we met a youngster named Yuri Berenguer. And the name was familiar because Juan Berenguer was a pitcher, a heartthrob pitcher, senior smoke for the Twins and the Tigers, the Mets, and other teams. And I asked young Yuri, who was 12 at the time, if he were related. He said, yes, that's my uncle. And we found out Yuri was interested in broadcasting. He had histiocytosis, and at one point it was feared he would lose his leg from a bone cancer. But he did recover, had treatment for 16 years. We found out about his interest in broadcasting, brought him to our booth. He learned how to count pitches for us, how to keep score, and also how to engineer the games. Then he started to run the audio board to get the Spanish broadcasters on the air. And in less than a year's time, he was a Spanish broadcaster and had about a 20-year run calling Red Sox baseball in Spanish, all because of a chance meeting when he was a Jimmy Fund patient. And he often said, he wouldn't wish cancer on anybody, but if it hadn't been for cancer, he probably wouldn't have been a Red Sox broadcaster, as it turned out. But sometimes it works in the strangest ways, but that's the beauty of the Jimmy Fund.
Thank you. So once again, I'm thankful to everyone at the Out of the Park community for participating in this. It looks like we're getting really close to our goal today of $2,000, which again is unbelievable. The way that the Out of the Park baseball community steps up and really shows what they're about is amazing. And I'm humbled by all of you out there who are making your donations. And again, I realize it's not easy, and we appreciate everything that you're doing for us very much. Once again, that link should be right there on the screen. And and I see that we've also got the link showing up in the chat as well. So again, a huge thank you to everybody who's donating. We know that it's not easy to do that, and we appreciate that. And we're going to obviously match that as well here at Out of the Park. So, and again, as I mentioned, some great rewards available for you as well. Some perfect points, some cool stuff from the Jimmy Fund as well. So lots of great ways for you to not only donate, but also get a little bit of a reward out of it as well. All right, Joe Castiglione. Joe Castiglione. Apologize. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's just I can't help it. I have so many of my Italian friends who have that accented E.
Well, you
at
should
the end
say,
of their name, but
you're technically correct to pronounce each vowel.
Okay, good. Well, good. I feel a little bit better now. It's not often that I get to talk to a legend, so I get a little, I get a little excited sometimes when that happens.
Well, we got to thank you guys, Rich, for helping make this possible. This is a lot of fun and certainly the greatest cause you could ever have.
I agree. And now it's crunch time. It is the top of the 7th inning. Pedro Martinez has thrown 91 pitches. He is on the mound. He's got a 5-1 lead. Alan Embry is ready. Mike Timlin is ready. Jackie Bradley Jr. is at the plate. What are we doing right here, Joe Castiglione?
We're attacking him. Pedro's on a short leash right now, but we're going after him.
All right. Here's the pitch. It's a 2-0 count. And that is popped up in foul territory, and the play is made by the third baseman, so that's 1 away. So now you've got Pedro versus Holt. And once again, you've got both pitchers ready, the lefty and the righty, and Pedro at 94 pitches facing Brock Holt, the lefty.
Well, the velocity's still there. So is the movement, so go Pedro.
All right. Here's the pitch. It's a 1-1 count. And that is ripped past the first baseman, so that's a base hit. So now you've got a man on first with 1 away, and you've got Vasquez at the plate, the catcher.
Well, this could be Pedro's last batter. We'll see how he fares with Vasquez.
We want to go double play depth with a man on first?
Double play depth in the infield.
All right. Here's the pitch. It's a 1-1 pitch, and that is popped up, and that will stay in the infield, and that will be the second out of the inning. So now we are at 2 outs, and Holt at first, and Mookie Betts at the plate. An interesting situation right here.
Well, this is the best against the best, so Pedro will go right after him.
All right. Here we are. Here's the pitch. A 1-1 count, and Mookie gets a base hit. That is going to drop in. So now you're going to have first and third and 2 outs. So the tying run is on deck. And you got Benintendi at the plate. Devers on deck. Pedro at 103 pitches. Embry and Timlin are looking in from the bullpen.
Time for the lefty. Alan Embry.
All right, here comes Alan Embry. He's coming into the game. And he is now facing Benintendi. So 2 on, 2 outs. Playing straight up.
Straight up. He's going to see fastball after fastball.
All right, here's the pitch. A full count. And that is a pop fly, and the play is made. So some excellent managing, Joe Castiglione. You get out of it, and it is 5-1 heading to the bottom of the 7th, and you have got your leadoff hitter, Johnny Damon, batting first here in the bottom 7th with a 4-run lead.
Those add-on runs always important, so we'll be shooting for more.
All right.
Damon's got
Here's the
Damon
pitch.
will swing away.
And that is a high fly ball in the left field. That looks like that will stay in the park, though. So 1 away. The play is made in the corner by Benintendi. And here is Millar with 1 out and nobody on, facing Joe Kelly, who remains in the game. Only 12 pitches so far.
Millar's been in right field. Well, we'll see what he does here.
All right. Swinging away. It's a
Gets
1-2
aboard, we
count.
may run for him.
Oh, that's hit well. That's hit well in the left field. And oh, no, it stays in the park again.
Ooh.
I think the wind might have kept that in the ballpark. I thought that had a chance, but there are 2 outs.
Yeah.
And here's Manny
Looked
Ramirez.
like it would catch some wall there, but not quite.
I thought so. All right, so here's Manny. He's got a 1-2 count. He's 1 for 3 today, and that is grounded to short. Slowly throw over to first. The play is made. All right, so we head to the 8th inning. Now you've still got Embry on the mound, and you got Devers, Martinez, and Moreland coming up. Do you want to take a look in your bullpen and get somebody throwing?
Well, Timlin's warming, but Embry's got 2 of the first 3 left-hand batters, so he'll stay out there.
All right. So here's Devers. 0-1 count to him. And that is a ground ball to short. The play is made. Oh no, it gets by Ortiz. It gets by Ortiz, who is in there at first right now, and that's a problem. So that is an issue. So now you got Devers at second base, JD Martinez at the plate, let's make sure we got everything going on that we need to. So they had sat Timlin because he was warm, but we're going to get Timlin going back again.
Timlin's
He's
back
already
on his
ready.
feet.
Yep. Is there anything else you want to do with your bullpen here?
No, we want to keep him out there. One out, one on.
All right. One out, one on, man on second. Here's the pitch to J.D. Martinez, and that is a fly ball in the center field, and a diving play is made. Johnny Damon making a big play out there in center field. Yep. So now here's 2 outs and Moreland at the plate facing Embry. So again, you got the matchup that you want here with 2 out. Oh, no, there's only 1 out. Excuse me. 1 out, a man on first, and Mitch Moreland at the plate.
We've got a left-left matchup here. So,
all right. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that is a high fly ball. Hit pretty well to deep center, right center field. A long way to go for Johnny Damon, but he does make the catch. The runner will advance to third. So let's set the table here. You've got Mike Timlin, who's ready. You got Bogarts, the ready at the plate, but then you got Bradley, Holt, and Vasquez scheduled behind him. A man on third and a 4-run lead in the top of the 8th with 2 outs. What are we doing here?
well, with 2 left-hand batters next, we're going to roll the dice here and let Embry face Bogarts. A tough matchup, but better for Bogarts, but we've got to take a chance here with the lefties next.
All right, here's the pitch. And that is a ground ball to second. The strategy works. Joe Castiglione, you have a 5-1 lead heading into the bottom of the 8th inning with Ortiz, Veritek, and Bellhorn scheduled to come up.
And Keith Folk getting ready in the bullpen.
All right, so you want us to get Folk going? Let's do that. Folk is now warming up. And here is Big Poppy. Joe Kelly's still in the game, although he'll likely get replaced soon. And that is a strikeout for Poppy, so he goes back to the dugout. And here's Veritek facing Kelly, who's at 27 pitches, but they're sticking with them for right now. Here's Veritek facing Kelly. You swinging away with the captain?
He's swinging away.
2-2 count. And that is a strikeout. So Kelly, who is getting gassed, is still dealing. He's got Bellhorn now with 2 outs and nobody on for the switch hitter, hitting from the left side of the plate. He's got 2 sacrifice bunts, but I don't know if you want to bunt again now with nobody on. You want to swing away with
No, he set up
baseman?
3 runs, so Bells has some power, too. First time he's batted left-handed in this game. So
He does
let him
have some
swing.
pop. All right. He works a full count. And that is ripped down the first base line. That's going to be a base hit. Will he try to go for 2? He will not. Oh, he will. Excuse me. That is going to be a double. And he's got a 2-out double. And that brings in the new pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez, now to face Orlando Cabrera.
Well, Bellhorn's been a spark plug. 2 sacrifice bunts. He set up 3 runs, and now he doubles.
Nice.
Cabrera,
Nicely
who had
done.
an RBI earlier with a chance to add to this lead.
That's right. Let's see what he can do. It is a 3-0 count. And so that is a 4-pitch walk for Eduardo Rodriguez. So now you got Bill Miller up, first and second, 2 outs. You can really pour it on at this point in time.
Okay, well, Bill trying to get a base hit here.
A 3-1 count and another walk. 2 consecutive walks, only 1 strike in 8 or 9 pitches for Rodriguez. So he is wild. And now you've got Mankiewicz hitting from the left side of the plate against the left-handed pitcher with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
All right,
This
we're
is
going to
an
use a
interesting
pinch
spot.
hitter here. Let's go to
All
a
right.
pinch hitter.
All right. So on the bench, you've got Mirabelli, Euclid, Reese, Roberts, Kapler, and Trot Nixon.
We're going to go with Euclid with the lefty pitcher.
All right.
Unless they counter.
Here comes Euclid. So here comes Euclid to face Rodriguez, who has walked the only 2 pitchers that he has faced. Bases loaded, 2 outs. This could blow the game wide open. It is a 1-2 count to Euclid, and that is strike 3. So
Kelly
that will end
escapes.
the inning. but you've got a 4-run lead against one of the best Red Sox teams of all time, Joe. And you've got, you want to bring in Folk here at this point?
We want to bring in Folk because it's a 7th game, and we want to have a couple of defensive replacements. Trot Nixon will go to right field.
All right.
And Dave
Nixon
Roberts
goes to right field for Millar, right? Nixon for Millar?
Yes, Dave Roberts will replace Manny.
Dave Roberts goes into left field to replace Manny Ramirez. Okay.
And Minkiewicz, was he in the DH spot at the end there?
He was.
So he stays in there. Because ideally we would have had him replace Ortiz, but we'll go with this defensive alignment.
Okay. All right.
We're going to give up the DH. We're going to put Euclid at first. We made the last stop. We'll put Euclid at first.
Okay. So you give up the DH, as you know. Very good.
We better not blow this lead with both Ortiz and Manny out of the game here.
That's right. All right. So you got Folk against Bradley, Holt, and Vasquez. All right. Here we go. Here's the pitch. Well, before we even pitch, do you want to play Jackie straight up?
Straight away. Well, actually, let's he's going to throw changeup, so let's overshift in the infield. Keep the outfield maybe shift to left, but the infield overshifts to the right.
All right, shift right or a hard shift right? You want hard shift. 3 on the hard shift right. All right, and you said you wanted the outfield shifted to the right as well.
A step to the left.
Oh, to the left. Okay, got it.
That's better. Okay, that's good.
All right. So here's the pitch from Folk. There's a 2-1 count. And that is grounded opposite field in the infield, but the play is made by the only guy over there, Bill Miller. He gets the first out.
Well, the shift worked.
All right. It did. So now you got Brock Holt, another lefty up against Folk. What are we doing here as far as the infield or the outfield?
We're playing slightly to pull, but pretty much straight up in the infield.
All right.
Outfield, come in shallow.
All right, the outfield is shallow. Holt at the plate. Here's the pitch from Folk. It is a full count. And that is a strikeout. Two
out of the final out.
And now here is Vasquez facing Folk. Nobody on and 2 outs and a 4-run lead.
Folk can challenge him. No need to pitch extra carefully. Just try to get this game over.
All right, here's the 1-0 pitch. And that is grounded over to third. The play over to first, and that's it. Joe Castiglione, you won, and you won easily. You won easily. The 2004 Red Sox can be clearly defined as the better team than the 2018.
Well, they had the right guy pitching at Pedro, and the little ball paid off. Small ball, the bunts.
It sure did. We take a look at the box score here. 5 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error for the 04 club. Only 1 run, 6 hits for the 2018 Red Sox. You were right. Pedro, he was a bit wild today, but look, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 103 pitches. And Embry gets 1 1/3 perfect, followed by a perfect 9th from Folk. That's about as good as you could line it up, I would think, right?
Sure is. The only home run was hit by Devers in a losing cause. So 04 beats 18.
04 beats 18, and Pedro gets the player of the game for his 6 2/3 innings.
And Bellhorn, the unsung hero, with those 2 sacrifice bunts.
That's exactly right. So Bellhorn in the box score goes 1 for 2. But as you said, he had those key sacrifice bunts, 2 sacrifice bunts, moved the guys over. And excellent game. So Joe, this was not easy to do what you did today, right? I appreciate you joining us. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And then once again, right before we go, we just want to say once again how thrilled we are to be working with the Jimmy Fund and the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. And we, again, thank you guys. Such a great job doing the donations today. We thank you. Joe, before we let you go, any last thoughts about the Jimmy Fund and the great work that they do?
Well, we hope the fans of the '04 team that ended the 86-year curse or drought, or whatever you want to call it, will respond. I know they've been so generous over the years, as was the '04 team, and certainly the '18 team was as well. Red Sox players really take this to heart. And, it's amazing when you get a player from another team who's traded over. They already know about the Jimmy Fund because they've seen, used to be in right field, now on the left field wall. They've seen the logo. They're aware of what it's all about, and they're always eager to help, as we know our great baseball fans of New England are, as they've been doing since 1948, and with the Red Sox since they took over as really the only relationship of its kind in pro sports, with the Red Sox in 1953 through today, with the official charity of the Jimmy Fund of the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
Well, thank you so much, Joe. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a thrill for me, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to try to play the game and to have a conversation and to watch the donations coming in. So I appreciate you bearing with me as I'm pressing a lot of buttons and doing a lot of stuff. But we're just thrilled to have you on here. We are just big fans of you and everything that you do. And just thank you so much for being with us here today. This was a whole lot of fun. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
Well, we did. We thank you so much, Rich, and everybody who made this possible. And special thanks to the great fans in New England for their generosity.
We love it. Well, have a great 2021 season. I hope you just are able to see and experience as much baseball as you possibly can, especially after a year like last year. Thank you again very much for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you to everybody for helping us reach our goal today. Amazing work. Thank you, guys. Thank you to Kenneth and Robert from the Jimmy Fund and Dana-Farber Cancer Institute as well. Thank you to everybody in the Out of the Park baseball community. Thank you to Michael and Lily over in Los Angeles running things as well. You guys are awesome. We will see you again here next Thursday, 3 p.m. Eastern, with another special guest from the Red Sox and NESN Jimmy Fund family. Until then, thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your night, and keep checking on all the different cool stuff coming out about Out of the Park Baseball 22, including 3 p.m. tomorrow on YouTube. The big reveal with MLB Network Scott Braun. Thank you, everybody. You're the best. Cheers. Have a great rest of your day.